Justin, we have to pod. Welcome to Between Your Ears number 9. And we're calling this one Los Hermanos Cubanos because I am joined by one of, if not my favorite person in the world, my own brother, the better JTC, Mr. Justin Cubano. How we doing today?
Tired.
Yeah,
Very tired.
We're both a little sleep deprived, but nothing, and I mean nothing, will stop this small bus.
It's okay. Recovering from a broken toenail injury, but we pushed through.
Gotcha. And it looks like we got a little cameo from Bucky in the back.
Yeah.
You guys see some non-PG related content. Don't blame us. All right. So we touched on it a little bit on our last episode, but now we're just going to deep dive into it with UFC 285 tomorrow. Jones versus Gane headlining. I'm still upset that this is getting way more publicity than Volk versus Islam did, but we can't live in the past, right?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. We can still be mad.
So we just kind of updating where we were last time. I don't think the lines have moved too much. Jones is a minus 170 favorite right now. I think Gane's at like plus 135 or plus 130, depending on your book. I still am going with my prediction of Jones finishes Gane within the distance. What says you?
It's a tough fight to call. Like many good fights, right? There's a case for either fighter. There's a path to victory, but I think I'm still leaning Gane. Although I am a little more hesitant on that choice. This week leading up, seeing them in the media and seeing, especially seeing Gane's busted hand, has me reconsidering my pick a little bit. Yeah, because when Gane
we get to do our first segment of I Told You So.
Man, when Gane was first talking about how he broke his hand in the Tuivasa fight and how he doesn't really train in between fights, he only does the camps. I thought he was just sandbagging. I thought he was bullshitting, just trying to play some mind games with Jones. But don't know if you saw that picture, but the picture of him at the media day with his hands like this, and you could see it was his right hand that was clearly swelled up. Yeah, clearly very swelled up. A lot more than his his fucking.
I mean, that's a massive development considering that, we think Gane's path to victory here is on the feet. It's gonna, that's our,
JTC2 joined.
That's where we think he has the biggest advantage. And here we go. We're looking at Gane's hand. Oh yeah, you could see right there.
Yeah, I don't know who put this freaking circle. Can we have any more circles? Did we really need all these circles? Like, let's just highlight.
Yeah, I think one sufficed there.
We could honestly use some arrows too. I couldn't tell what was wrong with this picture, but yeah, you can see his hand is like, yeah, that doesn't look good. That's very different.
Up a little bit more. Yeah, that looks.
Yeah, it's a low quality shitty pick, but just like look how visible his knuckles are here versus here.
Right.
You have this little. You have not little. You got a big bump going down his index joint, and then over here it's just nothing. You see some swelling, you see some redness. Not good, especially since Gane is he's a switch hitter, but he definitely prefers orthodox, and he has a wicked jab that might not be so wicked anymore. If
I think Jones
can't
had a
throw
little
it.
bit. Jones had a little bit of issues with southpaws lately.
Yeah.
And by lately, I mean Jones is 3 years out, so we're talking about his last couple fights. Adjustments could be made, but that's certainly if you're going Gane versus Jones there, that's something that you need to consider there.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like a bug bite to me.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. The other thing is, I mean, once you do break something, oftentimes it won't look the same once it's fully healed. And if you look at other fighters' hands and their joints, they don't look great either. Like Corey Anderson, former UFC light heavyweight, current Bellator light heavyweight. His hands are so goofed up. Like his fingers are just bent all in the wrong direction. If he makes a fist, it doesn't close properly. But like it's never it's never really impeded him in his performances. So this could also be nothing. My bigger concern is if Gane was telling the truth that he doesn't train in between fights and he only does the camp, then that to me is like, oh no. I don't know. That certainly it's gotten him far, right? But that's against lower level heavyweights. This is John Jones, arguably the greatest fighter of all time, and with a takedown offense that Gane has not faced. So
yeah, no, it's not what you want from the Gane side, and I do think that's a significant development here.
And also, and just one more thing, reviewing Gane's fight with Ngannou and the grappling exchanges. Gane's his grappling acumen is just not great. Like in that in the last round when he got the takedown on Ngannou, he sat down for a heel hook instead of trying to get top position on Ngannou, which is just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then he was content just to play guard in the fifth round too. It's just like, wow, what's going on here?
Oh, it's almost like someone said there's a big gulf in fight IQ here.
Yeah, well, counter to that is Jones struggled to take down Reyes and was afraid to take down Santos. So,
yeah, but we know our boys looking a little beefier now. The photos kind of circulating online, he was kind of getting razzed a little bit for his physique right now.
Yeah, which is crazy to me. It's like, what do you like? I don't know why or how people expected him. I think people expected him to come in looking like Alistair Overeem or Brock Lesnar. It's like, that's just not going to work, and that also wouldn't be beneficial for him. If he plans to wrestle, having all that extra mass is going to help.
Yeah,
and also you just can't.
Overeem action.
Yeah, a little Overeem.
Yeah, no, I think from the time that we, I think it was last week. I think it's about a week ago that we were on. I think that this is just kind of tilted more in the Jones favor.
Yeah.
I think he was minus 160 a week ago, and now it's minus 170. He opened. There was for about 2-3 hours, he was plus 200 in this fight, which, I mean, it got bet down within 2 hours. But I mean, John Jones plus 200 against God, I might take my chances there. That's wild.
I think a lot of people thought that way. That's why it went down.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a huge swing going from plus 200 to now minus 170. I watched the presser. Jones seems confident. Not that he ever doesn't seem confident, but he seemed very, very confident. He seemed, articulate. He seemed ready for the moment. I did notice he kept calling Serial Gane
Yeah, he was doing that intentionally.
Yeah, I don't think that was an accident.
Yeah, no, he's done similar weird weird talking exchanges like that, like 13 years ago, before leading up to the Rampage fight. He had an interview with Luke Thomas back when Luke Thomas was a radio host on, I think it was Sirius XM, and John Jones did the whole interview in a British accent.
What?
Yeah, and it actually was not a terrible accent too. It was really good. It was really good especially by American standards.
I'm gonna have to look at this.
Because yeah, it's only like a 5-minute video on YouTube, but it's it's real.
All right, that almost sounds unbelievable, but yes, I don't think the Cyril Gane. I think Cyril Gane, that was intentional, a little needle point, but I don't think Gane noticed or gave a shit, to be honest. I think the little bit of a language barrier didn't really. I don't think he really. Even if they told him he was calling him cereal, I don't think he would give a fuck. Find that highly unlikely. Shout out. What up, David? Welcome back. Thanks for supporting us here. David says if Jones can't exercise any wrestling maneuvers on Gane, then Gane has a great chance of winning. Yep, 100%. But, given that, we touched on it before, but we'll briefly touch on it here. He can't allow that to happen. His best defense is going to be offense in this fight. We saw him struggle with Ngannou's wrestling, which is rudimentary compared to someone like Jones. Jones is someone who has kind of done things to Daniel Cormier that, we never thought we would see in the wrestling department. Granted, the biggest difference there is it's a little easier to take someone down when they are terrified of your hands. So Gane's not going to be terrified of Jones's hands. I think he's going to invite that, if anything. But when he's up against Ngannou, takedowns are available because nobody wants to catch that right.
Well, I think Gane should be afraid of Jones's hands. Those eye pokes do a lot of damage. I don't want to steer clear.
That's, I know, kind of in jest, but kind of serious too. I mean, if they allow Jones to, that's a massive advantage for someone with the longest reach in the UFC that he's kind of continuously gotten away with. I mean,
I wonder
what does an 84-inch reach turn into when you can point your fingers out like that? That's kind of wild. And he's continuously been able to get away with that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I felt good about Jones. I felt good for Jones before. Mm-hmm. I feel much better given the developments that we've seen so far. And I think if anything, it only enhances and strengthens my position, especially on these lines here. I still think it's a value at -170. I'm not sure what finishing within the distance turned into, but probably could get some decent odds on that. I do have parlay. I have a parlay for those listening and who are in a legal gambling state. I will. So the I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it. I have a parlay of Jones, Ian Gary, who I believe is -770.
Something insane like that, yeah.
Not as bad as Bo Nickel, but yeah, he's I think he's the second highest favorite on the card.
No, he's the highest favorite. I believe it goes him, Valentina.
It's Bo Nickel.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying.
I'm saying Ian Gary's the second highest. Shevchenko just jumped to -800.
I thought you were saying Bo was the second highest. Was there?
No. He's far and away the highest. I have Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'm trying to.
Speaking of Shavkat, his opponent Jeff Neal missed weight by 5 pounds. It's no small message.
Yeah, I think that shows that he's. I don't want to say scared. I don't like saying UFC fighters are scared. I think that's kind of asinine. These guys are bleeping warriors. And but I don't think that was by mistake.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I mean, Jeff has had some health complications in the past, but he's never missed weight. I have a feeling he is probably intentionally missing weight so that he has a as much of as an advantage that he can get when it comes to the grappling department. Because if he got controlled by Neil Magny, Shavkat's going to do bad things to him.
Yeah, and look, we try to stay away from MMA math, but I think in this scenario, I think it's a fair gauge, man. Just seeing what Shavkat was able to do to Magny, it's hard to see in the time in between those fights, seeing Jeff Neal make that kind of radical adjustment to me. I think that's a little too much to ask for. But yeah, the parlay that this isn't going to be one of those like I'm not when I'm giving advice, I'm not one of those, oh, look at this plus 10,000 or plus 20,000 kind of thing. I think those are silly. Don't recommend those. I like stacking high odds. It's just especially in UFC, and I think there's a value here. I have Jones, Ian Gary, Shavkat, Shevchenko, and the riskiest one is Duplessis to me.
Duplessis.
Brunson is getting a lot of love as a 2-1 underdog here. I think he's actually been bet down a little bit. But I still think I think the combination of Brunson at 39 plus, Duplessis' advantage with the hands, I think that'll be a little too much. So that's the biggest one that I'm concerned about, even more so than Jones versus Gane. Duplessis pre-COVID apparently trained at Kill Cliff FC. We don't know what happened there. We don't know if there was anything gained from the coaching staffs. We don't know who beat who in a sparring session, who got the best of whom. All we know is that Duplessis trained there for a time before pre-COVID, and no one knows much else, and no one's really saying much either.
I did not know that he used to train there.
Yeah. They said it on the Anakin Florian pod. So Jones plus Gary plus Shevchenko Rakhmonov.
Yeah.
Plus
Brunson at plus 200 is good odds, just because I don't think Duplessis has never faced a vet like Brunson. He hasn't. I don't think he's faced anyone with as good of a offensive grappling game as Brunson. But Brunson's also old.
Yeah, I do think, and again, looking at MMA math here, you might say Brunson should have the advantage here because he beat Till in a more impressive fashion. But as we've seen with Till, it's kind of just been a downward trajectory for him.
It's funny how Till is both of their last wins.
Yeah. It's a long layoff for Brunson. I typically with older fighters that doesn't really bode well. There's a reason that they need the long layoff. But at plus 245, you have to kind of give a little bit. And I feel confident enough in the 4 other matches that I'd be happy to take Duplessis there and get plus 245. You could add Bo Nickel to that and get plus 261. Bo Nickel is a minus 2,200 favorite. So you get a couple more bucks in there to juice it. But the more interesting one that I would consider adding to it is Cody Garbrandt. He's at about minus 170 right now.
Yeah.
He's fighting, I think it's Trevin Giles.
Trevin Jones.
That's I feel like that's kind of a layup. I think the UFC wants Garbrandt to win. It's hard to bet on Garbrandt, especially considering he's on a Till level losing streak. But putting Garbrandt in adding him to the plus 245 gets you nearly 4.5 to 1 odds on your money. That's not something that I would go over crazy with, but 4.5 to 1 on your money there with those guys. That's something I would be interested in. Or you could sub out Duplessis there for Garbrandt. I think that's a fair play. You get a little bit better than I think it's about 2.8 to 1 on your money. So if you're a little worried about Brunson there, you could sub out Garbrandt there, and I think there's values to be had there. This is going to be more of a parlay kind of thing, unless you want to just go balls deep on John Jones. I think that's where the value is on this card. Anyone on that recommendation you'd be concerned about?
Just Jones, because Jones and Garbrandt. Just because I think the main event's kind of a coin flip, and I think Garbrandt versus Jones is interesting because I do think the UFC intends to try to give Cody, I don't want to say a layup, but it's definitely a lesser opponent, right? Trevin Jones isn't even in the top 15. I don't even think he's a top 20, 25 bantamweight.
No.
But if Cody doesn't show any, if he hasn't really shown much improvement, and if he doesn't show any in this fight, then I kind of don't see him winning. Especially if he reverts back to that very bad mindset of I'm just gonna brawl and hit them harder, because Jones hits incredibly hard. He's younger, not by much, but a little younger.
He's more durable for sure.
Yeah, and he hasn't seen. I don't think he's seen the miles that Garbrandt has, and I think Cody's chin is. I don't think his chin is shot, but his defense is just not good. It's just not good.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything remotely similar to what that Dominic Cruz fight, which is wild because in terms of title fights, that's one of the best performances we've seen in a title fight ever. And it's against Dom Cruz, who arguably is the best bantamweight of all time. Arguably, it's debatable, but at the time he certainly kind of was without question. It's so wild to see that fall there, where this guy was that guy.
Yeah, Team Alpha Male spent a decade trying to beat
He did leave Team Alpha Male. He did leave Team Alpha Male for what it's worth. So
he did. Oh,
yeah, he's with a different camp for this. He's with a different camp for this fight. So perhaps that'll prove fruitful for him. I don't know.
If anything, he should go with TJ and go train with Dwayne Ludwig. I think that would actually be really good for him.
So let's jump into going back to Jones versus Gane. You mentioned pre-show. It was announced that Stipe is getting the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Stands to reason that you think Stipe is the backup fighter this weekend?
No, it's they announced it at the beginning of the week. It's Sergey Pavlovich.
Ooh, that would be terrible for both fighters if that happened.
Actually, I don't know.
I think that would be. I think Gane would welcome that.
I think Jones would also welcome that because Sergey, from what we've seen, he has a pretty weak ground game too. He got taken down and TKO'd by Alistair Overeem.
Okay.
Which, not to say Alistair has a bad ground game, but he's certainly not the best But
He's not John Jones quality.
He's not John Jones quality, yeah. But in terms of heavyweight grappling, like Alistair's pretty up there.
Yeah. I was gonna say quick shameless plug for Celsius. Did you know Flow Rider got $82.5 million in his lawsuit with them, and for significantly less, they could sponsor us.
But they could.
Jesus, $82.5 million. Could you imagine that?
No.
That's amazing. I don't know how he won that one. Apparently, like they didn't pay him his 1%, and he just kept taxing interest.
But he's happy.
Business, baby. Business moves. Yeah. Anything else on the card in terms of lines stand out to you?
Tabitha Ricci versus Jessica Penne. I don't know the lines for that. I think I last saw Ricci was like a -200. That she should win that. If she doesn't win
Tabitha Ricci is -310.
Yeah, that sounds
Who you're taking Ricci over Penne there, or
Penne's like 40 years old and got picked apart in her last fight, and Ricci's not bad. She's not bad.
The other one where it's kind of like an older fighter fighting a younger fighter is Arujau versus Hebas. Hebas is -118 in that fight. I think if Arujau loses, she's probably cut from the UFC. And I think if Hebas lost, she'd probably she's got some fan support. I don't think she'd be cut out.
Yeah, she's got the simps behind her.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but
I'm taking Hebas in that. Hebas arguably beat Chookagian.
Yeah,
I think that's better than any of.
-118 seems kind of like seems value-ish to me, just given the differences in age and trajectory. But it's the fight game for a reason. You giving Jamie Pickett any kind of shot against Bo Nickel?
Not really.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is an Aaron Pico situation. I think the most interesting fight where like I have no read on it is Jalen Turner versus Matus Gamrot.
Gamrot all the way.
Gamrot's
even on 2 weeks' notice. Gamrot all the way.
Gamrot's -215 there. It's just hard to pick against Jalen Turner given how physically imposing he is. But you think Gamrot's wrestling is going to be the difference there?
Yeah. Jalen, if I'm not mistaken, I think his takedown defense percentage is at something like a whopping 80%, but that's a little deceiving. He was taken down by Jamie Mularkey, who ran a double and just turned the corner on him. He was taken down by Brock Weaver, who is just not good. Brock Weaver is not UFC caliber. He's not even in the UFC anymore. In fact, fun fact. Also,
when did those happen? Are those recent?
Jamie Mularkey is his second most recent fight and win. It was back in March of 2022. Brock Weaver was back in 2020, so a little further ago. And then his other loss, his last loss to Matt Frivola, who we saw at 281. That was back in 2018, but Frivola is like he's a grindy, just in your face, push the pace grappler. Trains out of.
I don't think Turner would lose that
MMA.
Rematch, so I don't think he would lose that rematch.
Malarkey was able to take him down. Malarkey's not. He's not a wrestler. Malarkey's a fellow striker.
That was the fight that was referenced a lot on Anik and Florian on their most recent podcast. They were referencing the Steamroller Frivola fight against Turner, and I don't remember who they picked. I think one of them did pick Jalen Turner with the upset, but they did reference quite frequently Gamrot. even on short notice, has a massive advantage.
Yeah. Gamera's
We'll,
just a different level of fighter than Turner's ever faced, and
yeah,
I don't see him pulling the sub upset off, and I don't see him knocking him out just because Gamrot has a hell of a chin.
yeah. The odds on will it go the distance is interesting. It's plus 154 to go the distance, which I think kind of has some legs there. That's probably the thing I'd most be interested in.
I would say it goes the distance. Yeah, I don't see Gamrot. I think Turner's good enough to ward off a sub and has good enough defense to avoid the TKO, but I think he just gets exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to our original point here. Stipe getting the winner here.
That's right.
Francis is still a free agent. I don't think Francis comes back to the UFC to be honest. I think there is about a 5% chance with a John Jones win. And I think it goes up to about 6.5% if John Jones comes in and he beats Gane and then he beats Stipe. But Stipe is a hell of a consolation prize for fans, in my opinion. He is up there in age. He's closing in on 40.
He's already 40. I think he's already 40.
I thought he was 39.
I think he just turned 40.
Stipe's, one of my favorite fighters, for obvious reasons, plus the amazing soundbite of Kalabib Steopik. That motherfucker is coming. That motherfucker, that immigrant mentality. He's from Cleveland. I don't give a shit. Still one of my favorite sound bites from Joey Diaz there. I just think it's going to be a hell of a fight, man. I'm really, really, really interested to see what happens there. Especially with Stipe, you have common opponents there with Stipe versus DC. John Jones gets an opportunity to distance himself even further from DC. And I think I think there would be genuine animosity there.
Having a bad dream.
Oh, Buck. We did get our cameo. I told you guys we would get a cameo from Bucky. But yeah, no, I think there would be genuine animosity there between Stipe and Jones. Stipe's not a big shit talker, but you could tell when he doesn't really like somebody. And I think there would be genuine animosity there. Conversely, to here, I will say after watching the post-fight presser a little bit with Gane versus Jones, I felt like Gane was just a little too complimentary of Jones. I felt like he's just kind of a little too much like, yeah, I'm fighting the GOAT. I hope I win. That's it.
I mean, Gane's never been a huge shit talker either. I think Stipe is Stipe versus Jones was always well, not always, but it was always a fight that people wanted, and it was initially what was thought was going to happen.
Well, people just never thought Francis was going to get takedown defense. That's why it was always Stipe versus Jones.
Francis was the favorite going into that rematch, though. But yeah, the thought behind the fight is GOAT versus GOAT, right? The greatest UFC heavyweight versus the greatest UFC light heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
Squaring off. I think that's the fight that Jones would have preferred for the title.
Yeah.
I don't think
right now. I mean, instead of Gane?
Initially, I think he was hoping for Stipe to beat Ngannou because I don't think it's any coincidence he was talking all this about moving up to heavyweight, and then Ngannou wins, and he's like, I'm going to take some time off and really acclimate my body to heavyweight.
100p.
Yeah,
100.
Yeah, because Stipe is a smaller heavyweight. He weighs in like the 230 range.
Yeah.
So like Jones on his fight night weights would be like 220, so they wouldn't even be that far apart.
Yeah, I think it was more so that he watched that takedown stuff
And he's
Like,
like,
ooh.
hmm.
But I think that's a fun setup. I think there's a lot. This fight has a lot of legacy ramifications here, and I think Francis will be. Not that he can't afford it, but I think, just out of principle, he'll be legally streaming it somewhere.
Yeah.
Or maybe we could be wrong, man. Francis could not care. He'd just be like, I'm trying to fight Tyson Fury. Screw it.
I think Francis will say something no matter who wins.
I think both sides have kind of played their cards right in the aftermath. I know in the moment we were all trying to pile on the UFC, but I think both have kept. I think there is a path to reconciliation. Weirder things have happened. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen this before with people like BJ Penn and Randy Couture leaving as champ and then coming back.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was in the UFC's infancy. This is
but none of this happens. None of this happens without a Jones victory. And that's why the UFC needs a Jones victory. They have more invested in a Jones victory than I think in any fight in recent memory.
Yeah, they. I mean, the whole reason why they were able to let Francis walk was because they knew they had Jones in their back
pocket.
Yeah, they knew they could just pull out Jones and make a super fight out of that. And just be like, all right, yeah.
That all goes to crap if Gane beats him, though. Which
the UFC does not want Gane to win, because if Gane wins, then there's no question that Francis is still the best heavyweight, and the UFC does not have him. Whereas if Jones wins, especially if Jones pulls off, in vintage John Jones style and just absolutely steamrolls Gane, then you're like, oh, and then the UFC will play into the Francis was scared narrative. I mean, even the UFC in the embedded episodes, when they were talking about Gane's last fight and his last loss, and they're talking about his title fight, they did not mention Ngannou's name at all. Like, they showed footage of the fight, but they only showed Gane in his corner. They only showed him like walking out of it. And they only said that, like, and Gane was only like, yeah, I lost. He did not. They have not mentioned Ngannou's name at all.
Are you surprised? They are the kings.
I'm not surprised. I just think it's crazy that the UFC is still working on this archaic way of promotion.
Dog, they are the petty kings. That surprises me. That doesn't surprise me in the least bit.
They do take the it's us versus the world mentality to quite the extreme.
Happy trails to Darren Till. You were telling me pre-show he was released from the UFC roster.
Yeah.
You were saying that reportedly he asked for the release. I think that's a gift from Uncle Dana. I think a lot of fighters on his trajectory and his current with his current record would have been cut a couple fights ago. I don't think it was a bad showing against Duplessis, but I don't know if it's mental or injury or a combination somewhere of a combination or both, but you just hope that he gets his mentals right, because there are moments during the Darren Till experience where it goes to a dark place that, as a fan, you just, from a human perspective, whether you like or dislike Darren Till, I feel like there's been some dark moments there that are certainly concerning just from a human perspective.
Yeah, like him. Like him just openly saying, yeah, I have a daughter in Brazil that I just don't give a shit about.
He said that?
Yeah.
Oh, I completely missed that.
Yeah. And then him getting he had a tattoo of his girlfriend, and then he got it covered up by turning her into a gorilla. But no, yeah. Till asked for Till tweeted out that he asked for his relief, that like him and Dana and Hunter and the UFC are still on good terms, and that he'll be back eventually. And then he followed up with an interview with I think it was Brett Okamoto. Somebody.
He wanted to get some steroids in his knee.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, that's what he said without saying it. He was like, "I have some injuries I want to take care of. I need to get some injections in my knee. I need to take some time off." And it's like, okay, it's clear what you're doing. He's on the
Connor blueprint. He's on the Connor blueprint.
Yeah, it's crazy that since this whole Connor fiasco with him getting his leg repaired, I think we're going to see a lot more fighters do this, where they ask for their release.
Leave the pool.
Yeah, leave the pool so that they can go around USADA's restrictions and get medical treatment for the various chronic injuries that they all have, and then come back later just rejuvenated.
All right, you have a scheduled rant. Is now the time for you? Do you want to do your
rant?
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of USADA, they also announced that they'll be giving.
I'm gonna go in the penalty box for a second.
USADA recently announced that they'll be awarding their 50 clean jackets to Derek Brunson, Henry Cejudo, and Brian Ortega. USADA's a fucking joke. They are no fucking arbiter of drug testing. What the hell are they doing? USADA was brought in just to make the UFC look clean, not actually clean. Okay, they are merely an extension of the UFC brass. Okay, they can't fucking catch Paulo Costa. They couldn't catch Yoel Romero. They can't catch Cyril Gane. They can't catch Gelton Almeida. Like, what the fuck what are they doing here? All right. They only tested John Jones like 4 times in 2022. Are you shitting me? Fucking yeah. USADA means nothing. If anything, they're a detriment to the fighters because they can't get adequate medical treatment for their injuries. What?
Are we back? Okay, cool. I was able to grab a couple bites there. I think that's going to be a regularly segmented thing where Justin just rants into the ether about USADA.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the more diplomatic approach on that, just in case we ever get one of these fighters on here. I don't want it to be played back where Justin just is like, yeah, they're dirty.
No, they're not. Hey. They can't all be dirty if all of them are using.
Don't you dare disrespect the GOAT, Alexander Volkanovski. Don't you do it.
All I'm saying is these fighters, especially if they do not reside within the continental United States, would be utter morons not to be using PEDs. Why do you think come on. Volkanovski trains at occasionally at Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand. Come on.
I'm keeping my blinders on, sir. I'm keeping my blinders on.
What do you think they're doing on those trips, huh?
I don't know, but I'm keeping my blinders on, sir.
Let me tell you, they're not going to Bangkok to see the lady boys, okay? All right.
Oh, Jesus. Just so we're clear, this is a inclusive podcast open to all humans in the world, and that is not a dig at.
No, it certainly is not. I'm just saying they're not going there for the extracurricular activities in Thailand. They're going for the good training, and they're going for the good over-the-counter medicine.
Bare knuckle fighting championship with some news, Justin.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's what is it? Rockhold versus Platinum Perry.
Yeah.
Do we have any odds on that?
No, not yet. They haven't been released yet. But good for Rockhold.
How much do you think he's getting for that? Like $100K?
No, he's definitely getting at least 600.
600K?
Yeah, Chad Mendez in his debut made 600K. So I imagine Rockhold's getting a similar level, if not more.
It has that kind of market?
Apparently.
It
just has that kind of capital to blow on these ex-UFC stars.
I have only watched the fights that you have shown me, and I'm still of the opinion it is very hard to watch.
It's fun though. I won't. This is like the this and this is like bottom. This is let's be real. This is it's bottom of the barrel entertainment, right? It's the slop fest, right? But it's fun. Like they have some like genuinely good fighters over there. Like the most recent event they had.
Like the Siberian Express.
No, not like Artem.
You motherfucker!
Although it's still crazy. The judge is Rob Pauly in that, but it's still crazy that Lobov holds a win over Pauly. That's crazy. Wow. But no, the last fight, it was their light heavyweight title fight. I know the champ's name is Lorenzo Hunt. I forget the other guy's name, but they had a fun 1-round fight where they both dropped each other. They were just swanging, and then Hunt hits him with a beautiful right hand counter and just lays him out. MVP versus Mike Perry was a fun fight. And speaking of Mike Perry, yeah, he has this fight coming up with Luke
Perry
Rockhold.
won that one, right?
Perry did win. It was
crazy.
They went to the scorecards initially. It was a draw, so they had so Bare Knuckle has the rules where if it goes to a draw, there's a bonus round, and that round is sudden death. Whoever wins that round wins the fight. And that's what happened with the Perry and MVP fight, and Perry won. Bare Knuckle is tailor-made for people like Mike Perry, who are just utter brawlers, who just do not care about their well-being and are just in there to just swang and bang, all right? They even got the man himself, Julian Lane. Let me bang, bro. They got him, and they let him bang. They let him bang. They let him bang all over Mike Perry until Mike Perry just banged him back.
The heavyweight fight. You want to pull that up? Maybe we'll end with that.
What heavyweight fight?
You're talking about back and forth.
Oh, you want to show? Oh, well, there's also
Let's give the viewers something to watch. We got like 13 minutes left here.
Yeah. Oh, we're
not going 2.5 this time, people. Or
speaking of just again going back to Bare Knuckle. Speaking of of Bare Knuckle, and I mentioned Chad Mendes early in his pay for his debut. He's fighting Eddie Alvarez, which should be fun. Oh, and also by the way, Bare Knuckle does no drug testing. Chad Mendes in his Bare Knuckle debut, he debuted at 155 pounds. My man was the juiciest slut there ever was. Oh my god. He was on all the juicy juice. His muscles were swelled up to twice their size. It was like, geez.
On that Canelo tainted meat.
Oh, he was on that John Jones Serrano ball. Okay, he was on that Overeem horse meat.
Maybe he's training with Vitor.
In that TRT tour. Oh, speaking of Vitor, he has a fight coming up too. He's boxing Jacare. That's crazy to me. Why in Jacare's right mind? Apparently the pay is good. Pettis said that the pay is really good. It was enough to make him not re-sign with PFL, which is something because PFL was paying him.
Yeah, PFL was paying him pretty well.
Yeah, PFL was paying like $750K a fight.
Yeah, to go lose.
crazy that he's fighting lesser opposition still up.
Yeah,
not to shit talk Pettis.
When he announced he wasn't re-signing with PFL, they were like, "Thank God."
Yeah.
They were like, "What? You won't?"
Yeah, not to shit talk Pettis because he's a all-time great. He was in his prime. He was forced to be reckoned with, but he's just
showtime, baby.
He's past it. He's unfortunately washed.
Too many wars. His style doesn't really, kind of invite longevity, but he'll always have that knockout of Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Still blows my mind.
Yeah.
Literally still blows my mind. When he knocked out Wonder Boy, I was like,
JTC2 joined.
How much did I lose?
Yeah, that was wild. So yeah, here's something from speaking of which, if you guys are not watching One Championship, you should start. One Championship is, in my opinion, the second best MMA promotion out there. I think they've surpassed PFL and Bellator. Maybe not in terms of
contest. I don't think that's earth-shattering at all.
Well, I'm gonna say maybe not in terms of like the quality of the fighters they have, but just in sheer entertainment. I think they're up there. Their rule set, I much prefer how they judge the fights. I much prefer the actual fight rule sets, how there's knees to grounded opponents. I think it makes for a much more fluid product.
Demetrius is just
and also I like how they have other forms of combat on it. Like they have Muay Thai. Muay Thai in 4-ounce gloves is so much fun. And then they also have kickboxing, and then they occasionally have grappling, where they pit some really good jiu-jitsu guy against some no-name, no-hoper Sambo to be like, oh, look, we have a really good guy. But it's fun. But I think Bellator's, want to get into, I think Bellator's probably still has the second like best quality fighters, because they arguably have the best light heavyweight. They have arguably the best welterweight too now, if you want to make that argument. They have a really good middleweight champion.
Who's their welter?
Yaroslav Amosov.
You think he legitimately would have a shot against Leon or
Kamaru? Oh yeah. I think he'd easily be top 5 in the UFC.
Wow.
Yeah.
High praise.
Yeah. I think Nemkov would also easily be top 5 in the UFC. I think Johnny Eblen would definitely be top 10. I'm not sure if top 5, but Johnny Eblen would give. I don't think it's terribly crazy to say Johnny Eblen stands a good shot at beating Alex Pereira.
Quick, what?
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy at all.
Sir, it's past your bedtime.
You sir don't know Johnny Eblen. And then they also have people like AJ McKee. They have Usman.
AJ McKee's good, yeah.
They have Usman Nurmagomedov, which is Habib and Islam's cousin, out of that same training camp. He's only like 25, and he's really good. They have Patricio Pitbull, who I think would also be.
Pitbull would stand a good chance.
I think he'd be top 5. I think he beats people like Josh Emmett, Calvin Kattar, Korean Zombie.
I think Volkanovski trashes him.
And then in bantamweight, boom, the hits just bantamweight's just boom, the best division. Anywhere you go, they got good fighters. Because in Bellator, you got Patchy Mix, you got Rafian Stotts, you got the Gooch, man, Kyoji Horiguchi, the fucking Gooch. It's great. The bantamweight's just great. Bellator has good fighters. If you're not watching other MMA leagues, you really should start. Anyways, look at this wacky shit from another MMA league.
There we go.
Look at these. Look at this fucking guy they found at some gas station.
Oh shit! What the fuck just happened?
Oh, look at that.
He just got smashed.
Look at the boobies on this guy, eh? Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, that was quick. Speaking of, you mentioned welterweights. Did you see Bilal Muhammad trashing Colby?
I did not. What did Bilal say?
He was just kind of like trashing Colby's win streaks. And he's like, oh, everyone's saying that if Kamaru didn't exist, he'd be the champion. But he was like, who did he really beat, though? He beat a bunch of old guys. They're like, his most impressive win is a sucker puncher or some shit like that.
Masvidal?
Yeah.
No, I think his most impressive win is RDA.
Yeah, I mean, even that, Bilal was doing a resume comparison. He was like, mine's way better.
Currently, yeah, but I mean, when Colby beat RDA, that was great, and then he's given Usman 2 very competitive fights.
Is Usman a fraud?
What? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
What? Get the fuck out of here. Usman.
I think, I don't know, man. You start to look at resumes, and it's just like, I keep maintaining, man. I think it's going to be Hamzat. I don't think anyone's got anything for Hamzat there.
Shavkat Rakhmonov.
That's no. Sign me up. That's a pick'em.
Shavkat Rakhmonov, JDM, Jack Della Maddalena. Who else is up and coming at welterweight? I think Sean Brady can still rebound. He just really needs to work on his hands. I think
cool guy. I think at MSG, very, very fan friendly. He did not turn a single photo or autograph request. I will probably mention this a million times throughout our podcast, but your boy did get to fist bump Nate Diaz twice.
Yeah. Sean Brady's back, also fucking wider than the Pacific Ocean. Jesus.
Yeah. Nate seemed really cool, man. Nate was awesome.
Yeah.
It was funny watching all the like grown men go crazy, and he's just like, I'm just doing photos with kids.
Yeah. It was also funny watching all the I don't want to say fake fans, but all the fake. Yeah. I'll call them fake fans because because they don't really because we saw people
you calling MMA fans clout chasers?
Yeah, they were clout chasing because there was one guy, Chris Avila, who's a part of Nate Diaz's team, and they saw him walking with Nate Diaz, right, and then they saw him walking by himself, and like we heard them like talking amongst themselves, like, who the fuck is that guy? Who is that guy? Who is that guy? Who the hell is that guy? And then someone told them who he was, and then they were like, who the fuck is he? And then they mentioned he's part of Nate Diaz's pack, and then once they said that, then they were like, oh. Yeah, Chris, right. Come over here.
Yeah. It was definitely an interesting people watching experience. Also got to watch a shocking knockout. So I'm still upset for my boy Izzy. We got any other fights to throw up there? Let's put a banger up there.
Any fights to look out for?
No. Where we can watch them instead of two guys from a gas station slamming each other.
Oh, I didn't really have this on the docket, but I could pull something up.
Yeah, let's end on that, and we'll get out of here at around an hour.
Oh, actually, you know what? I will continue my high praise of one championship. Although their whole weight testing thing is bullshit. MMA Point on YouTube, right? They did some actual good like investigative journalism, and they found out like, yeah, the hydration system is BS. It's very easy to circumvent, and most of the top level fighters have been circumventing it.
Cool.
So it's just nothing. I'm all for proper hydration. Yeah, it was also always shady how like their stars would always make weight, right, and make hydration. And one championships, their matchmaking is also like just like the UFC, very clearly biased, and they very clearly favor their stars and want them to win. And if they pick and choose their favorites, and if they feel like you slighted them, then they'll just keep fucking you over and blah 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 blah. But anyway, the good fights, anyways. Back to what I was talking about 4-ounce Muay Thai. Look at this wacky stuff. Bonk, bonk.
Oh,
He's just gone.
Do it again. Do it again. That was fast. I don't know if the viewers got that one.
Yeah, I think this was in the opening minute of. No, it was in the third round. I was wrong. Yeah, but like, okay, so if I slow this down a little bit, right?
Justin out here giving us
in regular 16-ounce gloves, this kind of shot would not happen because his glove would be still protecting his face. But since it's 4 ounces, he can just slip that in there.
Yeah. Also, you were talking shit about the one guy with the 1,000 circles on Gane's hand, and then you just circle it 1,000,000 times.
Well. I mean,
just wanted to point that out.
I mean, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Am I right?
All right. Anything else? We got another fight to throw up there. Let's give him one more. Can we get more than 20 seconds here?
If you let me fucking plan this out more.
It's okay. No one's here.
Actually,
it's the beauty of being in the infancy stage. We could try it out.
Yeah, we do whatever we want.
Yeah, we could do some wacky stuff.
Oh, What was it? Oh fuck! There was this clip I saw of Dricus du Plessis. He is just he is quite the athlete, right? Like physically, like visibly, he's very physically gifted. He is a specimen, probably on the gear too. Yeah, he's from he's on that.
I think we need to make it clear to people that you just think everybody's doing it.
He's on that apartheid gear, you know.
You are the teenage parent where it's like everybody's smoking weed.
Yeah. Fucking what was I gonna say? But he is an incredible athlete, and he just like won't stop coming forward. He won't stop coming. He just won't stop coming. He just comes and comes, and he's just he comes, all right, and he's just so unbelievably committed to always pushing the pace that not sometimes his fights are just hilarious. He does wacky stuff all the time. And in his fight with Brad Tavares, right, he tried to hit a lateral drop. And one of the things in wrestling with lateral drops is that, like, technique-wise, it's not the most difficult thing to do. It's the committing part to it that you have to get over. So this is especially true for me because, like, once you would get it, right, you have to trust that you yourself have an understanding of the technique that you're actually going to throw the guy and they're not just going to land on top of you. And in du Plessis' fight with Brad Tavares, he goes for a lateral drop and he has you can see it on his face. He's like, yeah, I'm going to hit this fucking shit. But then he just executes it in the worst way possible. And he basically just flops to the ground and Tavares lands on top of him. And it's the funniest shit ever. And it also gives me a little hesitancy with how he's going to do with Brunson's wrestling.
There you go, guys. Brother ruining my parlay advice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I can't find I can't find the clip, but just, if you have a second, I'm sure it's pretty easy to find.
Can we get the MVP Perry fight, or is it too long?
That's a whole 20 minutes, homie.
Yeah, no. All right. Anything else on the docket that we missed?
Rampage Jackson has signed with Fight Circus.
The fuck is that?
You don't know Fight Circus? Fight Circus. Okay, I lied earlier when I said BKFC was bottom of the barrel slop. Fight Circus is bottom of the barrel slop. They have they put on.
Rampage is having money issues. Like I love Rampage. Rampage is
awesome. He probably is having money issues. He also just signed with that new like US MMA organization thing where they're claiming to give fighters health care and like a proper representation, all this shit, like whatever that shit means. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, Fight Circus. Have you ever heard of Rough and Rowdy? You've never heard of Rough and Rowdy. Okay, so Rough and Rowdy is something it's a little spectacle put on by Barstool, right? It's headed by your boy Dave Portnoy, who I don't like, but this is the one product of his that I will tolerate because it's bottom of the barrel slop. Isn't
it like backyard fights basically?
Yeah, it's just utter gutter nonsense.
Yeah, I think I've seen it once.
And Fight Circus is just like that, where they'll put on like three midgets versus they put on the owner of Fight Circus versus like 5 midgets, right? He got his ass kicked. They'll put on like some really fat guy versus a really skinny guy.
This sounds like my kind of thing.
They'll just do utterly
will we get
obscene abhorrent stuff.
Will we get Ariel Helwani versus Rampage finally?
God, Ariel. On the courts, yes. In the ring, no.
You think Ariel can play basketball?
I think on the courts he would probably ball up Rampage.
Open challenge to Ariel Helwani. I will play you in one-on-one. I know he's got a height advantage on me, but I think I'll win.
Open suggestion to Ariel. You're better off doing a 1v1 versus me.
Oh, wait. What if we could get Fight Circus to get Ariel Helwani versus Dana White? What would that do in pay-per-view buys?
Fucking Nothing. Dana would smoke Ariel.
He would smush
Have
him.
you seen? To quote Robert Whitaker, have you seen the size of that fella?
Who's next for Bobby Knuckles?
Don't know. Winner of Izzy Alex.
That's interesting.
It was supposed to be Costa, but he's having his own beef with the UFC.
Did you see his secret juice ad?
Also, if oh yeah, I did. Yeah,
that was hilarious. That was so good.
Yeah. See,
he's
openly trolling USADA.
Yeah, his social media is top tier, man. He might be the best follow.
I think if he was a better English speaker, he'd be a genuine UFC star.
I still think it's awesome. If you don't,
oh yeah, he's hilarious.
It's awesome. It plays into it a little bit.
Just don't ever ask him about his vaccine interactions with nurses. All right.
Oh fuck, we forgot about that. That's not good. Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Why does everyone suck?
Well, MMA just attracts the worst people.
Damn it, man. Well, on that note, again, please like and subscribe. I've been getting told a lot that I have to say that more often. If you guys want something, if you guys want to give us a topic or, have us analyze a line for you, it is jtbetweenyourears@gmail.com. You could always drop in the comment section. We will be here next week. We'll be here every week, maybe even 2 times a week. Who knows? Let's see where this short bus takes us. Shout out to everybody who showed up and stopped by with us on your Friday night. Thank you, my brother. And we'll see you next week. Make sure you watch these fights. Doses.